What up, guys? What's going on? Welcome to episode number 13 of the Spun Today podcast. I'm your host, Tony Ortiz. Thank you very much for listening. Let's see. What do we have today? Today we have another free writing episode because I want to do one. And also, I thought by now I would have the next audiobook short story episode out, but obviously it's not. And just a quick update on that. It should be ready by the next episode in 2 weeks from now. I know, I think I said that last week or the week before rather, but it didn't happen. Had a long couple of weeks, just busy with a few things. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It should be out, like I said, for the next episode. The short stories is done already. It's called, just to give you guys a little preview, it's called Ball and Chain. That's a working title, I guess. Like that, I'm gonna change it. I don't put too much thought into like titles and stuff like that. And I probably should. The story is, I'll get into more details of it, but pretty much it's from the book On Writing by Stephen King. In that book he puts forth a challenge, or not a challenge, like more of an exercise to write a short story based on a common theme that you see in movies or in books and stories and stuff like that, about the way he couched it was a husband that beats his wife, winds up going to jail. I'm paraphrasing here, I might be butchering it, but that goes to jail and then breaks out and makes his way back to his ex-wife, and surprises her or something like that, and wants to exact some form of revenge. So the exercise was to take this common story and flip the genders, and see where the characters take you and where the story takes you. And I had fun writing it. I enjoyed it. I finished writing it, like I said, in the process of going through it and editing it. And then the next step is obviously reading it and doing the edits for the audiobook and adding some sound effects and stuff like that, which is going to be a bitch. This story is, it's supposed to be a short story. Technically, I guess it is. But it's the longest one I've ever written. It wound up being like 12 pages or something like that long. I think the longest one I've written before that was probably Bully, which is on the website, spuntoday.com, /short stories, if you guys want to check that out. And that one was probably like 5 or 6 pages or something like that. I didn't intend for this story to be that long, but it is what it is. I'm editing it now, so it's probably gonna shorten up a bit, but it's still long as hell. So that's that. That's just an update on what's to come. Now, like I said, this week it's gonna be a free writing episode. I am going to go over, for those of you that haven't listened to previous free writing episodes, I go over a section of my website, spuntoday.com /free writing, where I take a quote that from a book or movie or anywhere that inspired me to free write about it, and I have it formatted on the website in that tab as quote in red, which is actually a link that you can click on, and it takes you to the actual either the book on Amazon that you can buy, or if it's a video, like a YouTube video or something like that, it'll take you directly to there so you guys can see it in its full context. But it's the quote in red, and then underneath in blue is my freely written thoughts, and then timestamp of when I actually wrote it. And that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go through 3 of those today. I do these sporadically throughout, and it's interesting for me because they give me a chance to like reread certain things that I wrote, months or weeks or sometimes even a year or more ago, and it's pretty cool to reflect on and just to see where my head is at now and shit like that. Now, before we get to that, an update on an article that I read recently for the Serial podcast. I guess he's not really the protagonist of the story, but the guy that went to jail, Adnan Syed, he went to jail for life for allegedly murdering his high school girlfriend or ex-girlfriend about 15 years ago in Baltimore, Maryland. He, partly due to the popularity of the podcast, he was granted a review by the appellate court in Maryland, which means that they could reopen his case to complete an investigation, and that's pretty sick. Even if the appeal would get denied or declined, I'm not sure what the legal proper legal jargon is for that, but even if it would, the fact that it reached this level is just a testament to how powerful podcasts are and can be. Yeah, it's pretty dope. Also, in an article that I read regarding the Serial podcast, it kind of alluded to, or maybe I was just like reading too much into it or analyzing it too much and reading between the lines, reading something that wasn't even there maybe. But what I drew from it was the possibility of season 2 just being a continuance of season 1, and that would be interesting too. I mean, I've said it before, I don't know if I've said it on the podcast, but I've said it definitely in conversation, that it's going to be super difficult for season 2 of Serial to be able to top season 1, obviously. Like sequels don't always live up to the original. Except for Back to the Future 2, that shit was awesome. But it would be tough. Not that it has to or anything like that, but with when you gain so much popularity in something, you kind of like raise the bar for yourself, and out of nowhere you become the most downloaded podcast of all time, and this year's like biggest downloaded thing, period. I think it was like somewhere in the neighborhood of 65 million downloads or something like that in total, which is fucking awesome. And I saw a clip actually of I think it was the Today Show, or like one of those like morning shows, and that Carson Daly was on. I don't know if he hosts it or what. I don't watch the show, but I saw a clip on YouTube, and he phrased it perfectly. He called it the theater of the mind, which was a description that I found pretty awesome. It really is. It makes you, or at least Sarah Koenig, through her narrative, makes you just like picture and envision and see everything, and you fucking feel like you're there walking through Lincoln Park and fucking witnessing the whole thing, and it was pretty dope. So definitely looking forward to that, whatever comes out of it. And again, my hats off to Serial, Sarah Koenig, and Julie Snyder, and everybody over there doing their thing. And then we have another UFC fight, poised to be a pretty popular one. Probably not looking forward to it as much as like the recent ones that I've mentioned in previous episodes, but it's definitely going to be a good one. It's going to be Ronda Rousey and Kat Zingano, I think her name is. And she's hyped up as, she's the number one contender for a reason, and she's hyped up as the one that might be able to beat Ronda Rousey. She also has an undefeated record of 9-0 Ronda Rousey is a 10-0 record. But Ronda's such a beast, man. Everyone that she goes up against, just, I think, who was it? Misha Tate in their fight. I think it was Misha Tate, but that she got Ronda in like a neck crank or something like that. She was the first and only person to take Ronda to like a second round or a third round or something like that. Because every other opponent she's faced, she's demolished them in the first round. I think all of them by armbar, or not all of them. There was one, I think like 1 or 2 fights ago that excuse me, that she beat in like Mike Tyson in his prime form within like the first few seconds of the first round. She like did some hip toss judo throw thing and just started like pounding her face and pummeling the chick's face. And but I think every other fight was like by armbar in the first round, except for that Misha Tate fight, which ended I think in the second or third round, also by armbar, which is pretty sick, man. She's definitely a beast. So looking forward to watching that one. But again, it's gonna be I don't know. I think it's gonna be a slaughter, but we'll see what happens. And that's pretty much it for us in terms of an intro, guys. Again, I'm sorry if I sound a little out of it, but I have a slight headache. I'm tired. I'm looking at my what's a good way to phrase it? My cozy little 1-bedroom apartment here that my fiance is getting ready to move into, and just doing a lot of cleaning out and making room and shit like that. And I'm tired. So I apologize in advance, but obviously the show must go on. So without further ado, let's go on to the free writing portion of the podcast. Now, like I said before, there's going to be 3 posts that I'm going to read off and go over. If anybody wants to read along, you can go to spuntoday.com/free writing and scroll all the way down to the bottom. When you get to that page, you're going to see on the right hand bottom side, you're going to see something that says older posts. Click on that and scroll all the way down to the bottom of that. And the first one I'm going to begin with is a post from September that I posted onto the site on September 1st, 2014. It's from The War of Art, Stephen Pressfield. And it's a 1-line quote in red, which reads, "When inspiration touches talent, she gives birth to truth and beauty." To this I free wrote, "Talent is a gift. It can be a second nature, type of birthright, or the product of a craft that is nurtured and worked on to perfection. Inspiration has 2 parts. The first is the spark, the flicker of energy, like a light from a flame. The snap of a finger. It can come from anywhere, anyone, anything. It's external. A motivating song or a movie or a book, a significant other, family. This force makes you want to do what needs to be done, but this alone does not make inspiration what it is. The second part of what makes inspiration is the will, the drive, the fight to do. I fucked up. Is the will, the drive, the fight to actually do what needs to be done. When it needs to be done. When it needs to be done. I can't read for shit. Fuck, I'm out of it. Let me backtrack a little bit. The second part of what makes inspiration is the will, the drive, the fight to actually do what needs to be done. When it needs to be done. Work alone without that exciting spark of a goal / plan is just work. Assembly line work that becomes mundane. And having the spark with no work ethic and practice behind it is letting life pass you by, quote unquote, while you make grand plans for it. Together is how it all comes to fruition. Nurture growth of truth and beauty through your vantage point and your peripheral. I wrote that on Tuesday, July 9th, 2013 at 12:11 a.m. And either I was tired as fuck then or just really tired now because I just confused the shit out of myself just reading that. So that quote, I guess, from The War of Art made me reiterate in my own way the concept of you can't just walk the walk and you can't just talk the talk, right? It has to be both in order to act on inspiration. If you're just talking the talk, you're talking shit and you're not backing it up by putting effort and doing something about it. And conversely, if you're just walking the walk, you tend to just turn that into assembly line-ish work and, become a worker bee kind of thing. But both together is where it's at, basically. Taking that spark, taking that inspiration when you have it and doing something with it, putting it into practical use. Using it to your advantage to better yourself and work on yourself and work on whatever it is that you want to be working on. For me, it's writing or this podcast. For you, it could be drawing, painting, exercising, being a better worker at your regular job, whatever the hell it is that you're into. Pretty much not squandering that spark of inspiration when you have it. All right, so that's that post. Now, I just posted today. Today is February 25th. So go back to February 25th, 2015. Go back to the beginning of spuntoday.com/free writing. And the first two posts that you're going to see at the top of the page is the first one is another War of Art piece from Stephen Pressfield's book, and then one under that is an excerpt from a BBC interview between Zane Lowe and Eminem. And Eminem, for me, for those of you that don't know, and if I haven't mentioned it before, I'm a huge fanboy of. I am Stan. He's just the dopest to ever do it. Best there is, the best there ever was, and the best ever will be. I truly believe that. He is sick. He's just like beyond, on another level. So witty, funny, clever. There's nobody like him, I think. Just technical, so skilled, so he's fucking amazing. I actually have a podcast idea for a future episode. It's definitely going to take a while. It's probably going to be like 2 or 3 episodes long. Of pretty much, I'm going to be stringing together my favorite Eminem verses throughout, different songs, and I'm gonna do kind of like a not a free writing thing, because I'm not really gonna write anything out, but kind of like a play the verse, and then tell you guys what I think of it, break down the lyrics a little bit. Not that I'm some fucking rap aficionado or something like that. I'm gonna use sites like what's that site called that breaks down lyrics? Rap Genius, which is a dope site. And also that's just for like general shit, but also like what certain verses meant to me at a certain point in time in my life, what they mean to me now, what I personally think he means by certain verses and stuff like that, which to me is, you know, obviously it's something that can be completely subjective. You know, I could read a verse and think he's talking about one thing, you can think he's talking about something else, and we can both be right, both be wrong, and vice versa. So yeah, that's coming up in the future. So this interview, which was really good. I like the way Zane Lowe interviews. I saw a few interviews of his, and he's a pretty good interviewer. This one, this excerpt that I'm gonna read to you guys from that interview is about 11 minutes and 13 seconds into the part one of the interview. Like if you click again in red, the quote, you can click on it, it'll take you to the YouTube video, and just scroll to 11 minutes 13 seconds in, and this is roughly around where this starts. And this actually ties into the whole inspiration and spark from the previous post that I just read from the War of Art, which I didn't even notice until now, but I guess it inspired me in the same kind of way, the same thing resonated with me. So it starts, Eminem says, and I quote, but some, all right, so it's Eminem, then Zayn, then Eminem. Eminem says, but sometimes ideas, you know, they're not always the greatest. And then Zayn says, don't be afraid to fail, basically, to get somewhere else, to get on the journey. And then Eminem says, absolutely. So if you say one thing, that's going to spark another thing to lead to a better thought. You know, that's kind of how it went. And that's the quote. And they're, at that point, they're speaking, Zane Lowe asked him about meeting Rick Rubin, and Eminem is pretty much speaking about meeting him and in the studio and his vibe in the studio with him and shit like that, and how they fed off each other. And, you know, one thought sparks another one, which leads to another one, which leads to another one, which eventually leads to like a dope song or whatever. So to that, I free wrote, follow through, longevity, and persistent determination make the difference between getting on the path and staying the path. There should be a deeper appreciation for the process that is the journey. The masterpiece does not come to fruition without all of its pieces coming together. It doesn't will itself into existence in polished, finished, showroom-ready form. Ideas need to flow through the unique and enriching phase that is the creative process. Get out of your own way. And I wrote that on Monday, January 13th, 2014 at 11:49 p.m. So it is, what I'm basically saying there is, like how I ended it, get out of your own way and allow yourself to have the failures that Zayn mentions with what he said. And because you have to, you know, like go through the rough a little bit to get to that place that you may already be envisioning in your mind, but aren't sure exactly how to navigate through to get there. That rough patch in between, that's just the bullshit that you're going through to get to where you want to be. And you have to have that determination, that persistence, that tenacity to just plug away and work through the shit to get there. And it begins with that initial spark of an idea that leads to another one and another and another and so forth, like Em said. And if you in my opinion, if you have that feeling for something that it is that you're doing, whatever it is, go with it. And even if it doesn't make sense, even if it doesn't, even if you can't like nail it down to an exact process or an exact timeline or goal, those types of thoughts are just you getting in your way and stifling your own growth and your own personal development. At least that's what I've found with myself. So, don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of that feeling of that desire to strive towards something that you're not 100% quite sure what that something is, but you want to be going in that direction. Go with it. Fuck it. Because you're either gonna amaze the fuck out of yourself and or just enjoy the fuck out of the process of going for that. And at the very, very, very least, let's say you try something, you never get it, and you fucking have a horrible time attempting it. At the very fucking least, you do not have that what if question in mind, and which is a question that I hate, that I try to minimize as much as possible. And yeah, you should too. That shit sucks. But yeah, M is he's a fucking genius. He's a visionary, man. Something that I really enjoyed, because I've been like on a binge watching like battles. I used to be into them years ago, like rap battles online, with the Iron Solomons and shit like that. Math Hoffa's, and Math is still around. I don't know what the fuck Iron Solomon is doing, but Math is still around, fucking battling and sucker punching motherfuckers like a fucking dick. But yeah, I've been on, like, for the last couple months, like, just watching a bunch of battles again. And, like the Arsenals and Hollow the Dons and Loaded Luxes and some old Murder Mooks battles, and Charlie Clips and T-Rex, just a whole bunch. And I really like watching them. They're fucking witty as fuck, man. What these guys do, Disaster. If you guys saw the Disaster and Cassidy, who came back to the underground battle rap scene and actually did his thing. Because before there's this stigma of battle rappers can't do what commercial artists do, and vice versa, right? And Cannabis came back to battle, like the battle rappers of now. And as like an OG of, he came from battle rap, and he just got destroyed by Disaster. Like, embarrassed, destroyed. Like, he pulled out a notebook and he was like, I can't keep up, I gotta fucking read my shit. And because the battle rappers of now, they're like, it's like a new beast compared to battle rap back then, or so they say. Let me not act like I know. Who else? The Sharons, the Pat Stays with the KOTD. All those dudes are definitely doing their thing. But then Cassidy came back also, and Cassidy was actually like a credible, more of a credible threat. And there was two venues. You guys should watch like the full. If you guys haven't seen it, should watch like the full battle, which is takes place like on 2 different days. The first one, it starts off and there's like overcrowding and a bunch of people on stage, and I think they get to spit like a round each, or not even. And and Cassidy had some like ABC 1 2 3 like whack rhymes. I don't know if it was like on purpose to like bait Disaster in or what, but he just sounded like, oh fuck, it's gonna be another Cannabis. And then the shit got shut down by like the fire marshals or whatever for being overcrowded, and they wind up doing it the next day or something like that, or the next night. And then Disaster started off strong as he always does, and then Cassidy took it like 2-1, I would say. And just when he does an impression of Disaster so on fucking point and ill too, like ill, you know, not just like an impression like making fun of him, like clowning him and shit, just like lines like almost as dope as Disaster would do it in Disaster's like voice and stuff. It was just dope. It was ill. It was worth watching. I'll put that, let me write that shit down right now so I don't forget. I'll put that in the episode notes so you guys could check that out. Diz and Cassidy battle. I'll put it in the episode notes for you guys so you guys could just click on it. It'll be easier for you guys to watch. It was pretty dope. But yeah, what these guys do is they're fucking witty, funny. It's sick. And to me, Eminem is like the pinnacle of that. I wonder how he would do now, because obviously he came from that scene as well, from back in the day. But I don't know. He's just such like a visionary and a genius that I'm sure he'll body any dude that he goes up against. But again, obviously I'm biased. He did something like, I say he's a visionary, not just lyrically, but I mean in terms of how he set up the Total Slaughter. It's like a whole like battle rap thing. I think it's one of the first times, if not the first time, that it was on a rap battle was on pay-per-view. And now they're doing it pretty frequently. Like all the like rap leagues like URL and KOTD and shit like that. And I think it spawned from this, but I like Eminem took the format of UFC pretty much, and you know, put a bunch of battle rappers in the house, and you know, there was a few episodes of that. Excuse me, guys, sorry. And put a bunch of them in a house together. Disaster was there, Cortez, Math, Daylight's fucking crazy ass, T-Rex was there, and whatever. There was a bunch of dudes there, and then it was pretty much set up like that. It was like a bunch of battles with each other, and whoever made it to the fucking pay-per-view. Arsenal was there, Big T, and it was dope. And whatchamacallit, Joe Budden came, which is obviously a commercial rapper, came and he did his thing against Hollow the Dawn, but Hollow definitely bodied him also. But he actually held his own. I thought he was gonna be like another like Cannabis, but he did pretty well. He bitched out at the end though, fucked it up for himself by like putting the mic down and stuff like that, but it's pretty dope. But again, M is a visionary that put like that whole thing together, which is pretty dope. So yeah, that's that. Definitely stay tuned for that upcoming podcast episode, or episodes. I'm pretty sure it's going to be multiples of, it'll be like a ode to Eminem and Eminem verses and shit like that. And can you guys tell I'm a fanboy? All right, scroll up if you guys are following along with on the website spuntoday.com/free writing, and the first post up at the top posted on the blog on February 25th, 2015, is The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. Yet another quote from that amazing book. And the quote is, "Never forget, this very moment we can change our lives. There never was a moment, and never will be, when we are without the power to alter our destiny. This second, we can turn the tables on resistance. This second, we can sit down and do our work." And to that, I free wrote, "Maybe resistance in its many shapes and forms, like writer's block, lack of motivation, laziness, fear, etc., has such a winning record because of the fact that the opportunity to turn it all around is so plentiful, abundant, infinite. So, like most things that we have, quote-unquote, endless amounts of, water, air, we take it for granted. We have that laissez-faire attitude. I'll start tomorrow. Oh, that? I'll get to it eventually. I'll always have that chance available. Let me focus on this other thing right now." I guess that's all just another disguise of resistance. We can go one of two ways after knowing this information. A fork in the road to success, if you will. One, bow down to resistance. Come to terms with the reality of its ever-changing, shape-shifting abilities, like Mystique from X-Men. Find solace in pigeonholing yourself into an area where resistance could care less that you're inhabiting, your comfort zone. Or conversely, two, use the relentlessness and fierce determination of resistance as fuel and motivation to beat it at every turn. Like a home run hitter in his prime. You can let the fastball get the better of you and zoom by like you don't exist, or use its very momentum against it. Connect with the sweet spot of the bat and knock it out of the park. If it truly can be any given day when you decide to turn it around, or maybe not all, but even any particular specific thing, why not take a swing and make that day today? And I wrote that on Wednesday, May 28th, 2014 at 7:50 a.m. That's our early morning one. And yeah, it's true. It's again on par with not squandering opportunities that you have to get out of your own way and make shit happen, and realizing that the only thing holding you back, it sounds cliche as fuck, even like me saying it, even me saying it like to myself, it sounds like just like cliche, or like, oh yeah, that's some shit that you hear in movies, but it's really true. Like, the only thing stopping you is you. Like, every single second, like it says in the quote, every moment is another opportunity for you to sit down and do your work. Anything that gets in the way of that, anything, whether it's a legit fucking thing, like fucking, oh shit, I got a flat tire, I gotta fucking pull over and change the tire, or fucking anything, fucking, I have a fucking migraine right now, you know, I can't fucking sit down and write, you know, anything, whether a legit reason or just a reason that you make legit in your own mind because you're making excuses for yourself and getting in your own way. Whatever the fuck it is resistance. And you have to break through that. You have to come to terms with realizing that and say, wait a second, you know, I have a fucking migraine, but you know what? I fucking get them frequently, so I'm either gonna work with it or fucking just admit to myself, you know, no, I'm not gonna do this later. I'm gonna fucking continue bitching about it and saying that I have a migraine and not do shit. And at least admit that to yourself. And fucking fight through it. Fucking break through that. You've probably given yourself fucking migraines and shit. So yeah, why not swing for the fences? Why not, take a shot at it today? What else better do you have to do? More planning with no follow through, with no action and shit, or the reverse of that, fucking all action with no thought process, no long term thinking, no planning. You know what I mean? There has to be a fucking balance to it. Find that sweet spot. Find the sweet spot to your fucking bat and knock it out of the park. And that's it. Let me know what you guys think. These like all the posts, you guys can, there's a comment section, there's a like section, share section underneath every post. You guys can fill that stuff out. Let me know what you think, and or reach out to me on the contact/donate page of the website. I'm fucking tired, man. My voice is starting to go. So yeah, reach out to me. Let me know what you guys think. All right. As always, also there's a photos section on the website, spuntoday.com/photography. You guys can take a look at that. You could download any pictures that you want for free. And if you'd like to actually order prints of any of the photographs that you see on there, you can go to created.com /Spun Today. A link is in the episode notes of the podcast, and you guys can order posters and little framed prints of the photography that's on there. It's a way to help support the podcast. Another way to help support the podcast is use the Amazon banner on the contact/donate page of the website, and pretty much just click on the Amazon banner at the top center of the page. It takes you directly to Amazon's website, and you do your shopping like normal. It does not cost you anything at all extra. Amazon just kicks back a few pennies on the dollar for any of your purchases, just for you using my portal to go to their website. And that's pretty much it. With that, there's also PayPal donations. If you guys want to do a one-time or recurring donation via PayPal, the link is there as well on the contact page. And the best way that you guys can support the podcast is, word of mouth, obviously. Let people know if you like anything. If you like the podcast, if you dislike the podcast and want to make fun of it, tell your friends so they can make fun of it with you. And go on iTunes and or Stitcher and rate and review the podcast. That helps give it more visibility. More people notice it, more people will listen. Check out also the YouTube page. I've tweeted it before. It's on my Twitter feed. It's also on the website. If you scroll to the bottom to the what's that called? All the way on the bottom, the not the footnote, but I guess where the footnote area would be. All the way at the bottom. It has all the links: the Twitter link, the Facebook link, an email link, an Instagram link, and a YouTube link. You can click on that. It's like a little white circle with a little play button YouTube logo. Click on that. It'll take you to the YouTube page. You guys can listen to all these podcasts on YouTube as well. And that's another way for you guys to listen and support. And what else? As always, follow me on Twitter at Spun Today, SPUNTODAY. And also like the Facebook page, facebook.com /Spun Today. Follow me on Instagram at Spun Today as well. And also subscribe to that YouTube page that I mentioned, as well as subscribe to my newsletter. The newsletter, you're not going to get bombarded with shit, but you will receive emails to let you know when a new podcast is out or when new content is posted. And it's very easy to subscribe and to unsubscribe if you do find it annoying for whatever reason. You guys can go to spuntoday.com to the contact page all the way at the bottom. there's a couple boxes you fill out with your name and your email address, and you will be subscribed. You can also subscribe using the Facebook page. There's a link on there to subscribe to the same newsletter. And that's it, folks. That's the episode for this week. Again, I apologize if I was a bit out of it. Hope you guys found some enjoyment in it. Wish me luck, and wish my fiance and me luck with moving in together. Hopefully we won't kill each other. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. As always, substitute the mysticism with hard work and start taking steps in the general direction of your dreams. Thanks for listening.